internet, my name's Lave and this week I went to see The Jungle Book. Now I actually had high hopes for this. I'm a fan of Jon Favreau. He's directed Iron Man 2, Elf, really liked Iron Man 2, Cowboys and Aliens, although not great, they're not terrible. So it's really cool to see him get his chance to sink his teeth into another big project. And I've got to say, it really lived up to all of my expectations. It was really, really good. As you're probably aware, it's an adaptation of Rudyard Kipling's book and the 1967 Disney animation of the same name. So in turn, you should know the plot. It's about an orphan kid found in the jungle by a panther called Bagheera, who's then raised by a pack of wolves, and then his life is put in danger by the tiger Shere Khan. So Bagheera takes him away to try and reunite him with the humans and keep him safe. Now regardless of whether you know the plot or not, you have to admit it's a pretty simple one, but that in no way means that this film is boring. It's actually really entertaining, really well paced all of the way through. Just off the top of my head, I can think of numerous action sequences. Mowgli's a bit of a parkour jungle kid. There's a stampede sequence very reminiscent of The Lion King. This then leads on to a landslide sequence. There's numerous fights between different animals, and even the bit with King Louie turns into an action chase sequence. But that's not to say that this film is emotionless. There are some really tender moments with Mowgli and his mum. She's voiced by Lupita Nyong'o. She plays Raksha, and there's a bit where she realises that she has to let him leave. Yeah, it got me a little bit. You've also got the surrogate father in Ben Kingsley's Bagheera the Panther, brilliantly cast. Likewise, I thought Idris Elba as Shere Khan was effective. Humans are forbidden! On top of that, you've got Bill Murray's Baloo, who's kind of the more relaxed surrogate father. Just outstanding. Of course, that's where most of the laughs come from, and there is an emotional scene between them too. Bloody hell. In fact, the entire voice cast are just brilliant. And the fact that there is this emotional connection between them is just remarkable, considering Neil Sethi, the kid playing Mowgli, is probably acting against nothing. It's remarkable. And remarkable is the word that I'd use for the visuals in this film. The CGI animals are just outstanding. I'm talking Dawn of the Planet of the Apes level good. And I'm not just talking about the animals as well. The CGI environments are just stunning, just sucks you in from the very first frame. I went to see this in 3D in a standard cinema, and I wish I'd seen it in an IMAX. I would bet that the IMAX screen did it more justice. It completely sucked me in, and I'd be gobsmacked if this film isn't nominated, at the very least nominated, for an Oscar next year. Breathtaking. In fact, my only criticism of the film is that perhaps maybe it's a shade darker than I thought it was going to be in terms of tone. Now don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it, but I would have reservations about taking my 6-year-old niece to see it. Having said that, there were kids in my audience, but I think if you have a particularly sensitive kid, it might frighten them a little bit. So basically any scene with Shere Khan is pretty terrifying. Scarlett Johansson's scene as Kaa is scary too. And King Louie himself, played by Christopher Walken. My nephew, on the other hand, would probably watch it and then run off into the jungle and try and pick a fight with a tiger. At the end of the day, it's down to the parents if they want their kids to go and see it. Fair play. I enjoyed it, I ain't complaining. So that's my thoughts on The Jungle Book, and pause the video now if you want to check out my enjoyment tracker. It completely lived up to my expectations, and time will tell if it becomes a classic or not. I think it's got classic written all over it. Normally I'm not a fan of musicals, and I did wonder if they were going to include any of the songs in it, and they do. The two main ones are present, and I thought that when they started I'd be like, oh, but as soon as it started my foot was tapping, and yeah. Yeah. What can I say? All in all, I had a really good time with The Jungle Book. I think they've made it slightly different for it to be its own thing, but then familiar enough to say I remember that from the animation, so great job. If you liked Maleficent and Cinderella, which I think this is better than both of them, you will really enjoy this. So thanks very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Either way, tell me in the comments. Oh, Scooby-Doo. Subscribe